I'm not going to apologize for wanting more. I just feel like that's ridiculous. And the truth is that I feel like it's crazy for you to be apologizing to the people around you, to society, to your cultural norms, to religion. I mean, you fill in the blank. Not only is life just too damn short for it, but we didn't come here to simply be servients and to serve other people without serving ourselves. I know this sounds crazy, but stay with me. The amount of women that I've encountered in the last 12 months who have told me this statement, oh, Tiffany, I would do the thing, but I can't do that because my such and such would get so mad. Now, this particular series, I made a decision that I'm going to do a series specifically for you, the woman who knows that they want more right now. And they're saying to themselves, I'm really sick and tired of being tired. I'm tired of feeling left out. I'm tired of it only being me. I'm tired of not having enough. And I don't mean enough money. I'm actually, yes, you're tired of not having enough, but it could be enough money. It could be enough friends. I'm tired of just not having enough people to confide in. I'm tired of not having enough help. Like, I don't really care. It feels like there's just never enough. But the thing that we have to like own together as women, and this is specifically like, this is step one. Okay. Think of this as step one. We can't ask people to respect us. We have to demand it. Respect is one of the areas that I feel is the most compromised when it comes to women who want more because they get to some place. Let me tell you a couple of experiences. You might be either the woman you've crossed six figures, woohoo! You make multiple six figures either in your business or at a job, woohoo! And you think to yourself, well, I have arrived. You have not. Because chances are there is a person that you are allowing to talk to you any old way. There is a person who is not respecting you. There is a family member who is not giving you the attention that you deserve when it comes to how they make you feel. And if it's not that, it's a boss. And if it's not that, it's a child. And if it's not that, it's a husband. It's somebody. Because what I've learned about women, especially women who are already in the bucket of more, is that they get into a place in which money becomes the way in which they can mask how they feel to the world. They mask how they feel to the world. And you know why they mask how they feel to the world? Because it's easy. They mask how they feel to the world and they hide behind new clothes. They hide behind a house. They hide behind a desk. They hide by traveling. And you can only hide so much from yourself. This particular moment is this particular episode, and stay with me because I need to make sure that you go back and you listen to the other episodes. If you've landed on this and you're like, sweet Jesus, what the hell is this woman talking about? How do I dive deeper? I'm going to take you through a 7-ish or so part series because I want you to be able to walk away from this. And if we never talk again, and all you do is consume these 7 pieces, that you have a complete roadmap to get whatever the hell you want, and more importantly, to get out of where you are. Because what I find a lot, real talk, is I find that there is a ton of women who are saying to themselves, or a ton of women that I come across, are saying to themselves, yeah, I've accomplished all of this, but I can't do that. Well, he won't respond to me the way I want. They overlook me. There is a big difference between getting respect, right? Which means you're going to hope and pray. You're going to hope to sweet Jesus that someone is just going to respect you because it's the right thing to do, right? Because it is politically correct, because it is what we do in the workplace. It is because it is what we do with siblings, what we do with spouses and marriage and love. But no, that is not the case. We don't just get respected because respect is something that you're automatically given. Let me just debunk that myth right now. Nobody's really getting respect because it's automatically given. Now, here's the other thing that I want to make sure that you understand. Bestie, stay with me because this one's real. You also don't have to earn respect either. I know this is going to sound crazy. But Tiffany, what do you mean you don't have to earn respect? I don't have to earn respect. Now, in some areas, I might fight my way and use things that I am not, things that I lack in as a way to come back to the world and earn respect. Let me tell you a couple of times. So I owned a business on the East Coast. This is about 2000, maybe 8, 9, 10. Actually, I could even go back before that. But my business partners are Xerox Corporation, Hewlett Packard. And I was constantly around these white guys. And I don't have a problem with white guys. They're nice. We like white guys, okay? White guys are good people. But the truth of the matter is that I found myself constantly fighting and almost asking, like, hi, can I have some respect? So that's how the conversation started. I realized that the more I asked for it, they were like, all right, little black girl, go ahead and sit back down and we'll get back to you in hours between 2 and 2:15, on Thursday. And this got old. You ever been in a situation just feels old? So what I had to do is I had to teach myself, and which is why this is so important for me. Because in order for me to get the kind of respect that I needed to feel confident and to feel whole as I move forward, I needed to stop making respect optional in certain situations. Too many women who are trying to really scratch at that next level of more. And let me tell you, if you're already doing a couple $100,000, great. I'm thrilled for you. But your couple $100,000 is inferior to the millions that you're capable of. But the truth is that you have made respect optional. You can respect me most of the time, but those few times I'm going to let it slide. What? Wait, what? What was that? You going to let what slide? You out of your damn mind. I'm not letting anything slide. There's this moment where such and such and such, and I feel like this area of respect is something that means the world to me because you can't earn it and you can't just get it. You actually have to ask it in the form of a demand or a command. You have to teach people how to respect you. But we can't really teach people how to respect us until we learn and master how to respect ourselves. Because, like, if you don't respect yourself, like, hell is someone else going to respect you? Like, are you crazy? Like, are you serious right now? How is someone going to respect you if you can't even respect yourself? Ways you disrespect yourself. You disrespect yourself by being with a man who doesn't, or being with a partner who doesn't really partner or support you, but they're eating off of you, leeching off of you, sucking you dry. You don't command respect when you allow your parents, your mother, or your father to talk to you however the hell they want simply because they're your parents. I'm not going to support that. Now, does that mean that my parents can't talk to me? My parents can totally talk to me. But the second I become disrespected by them, it's a different conversation. You have the responsibility of being clear to the market and to the world, well, this is how I feel. Now, the other area in which I, for the life of me, will not understand how this happens, where you have children that are disrespecting you. Like, what in the hell is that? This epidemic of children who are disrespecting parents, I feel like it's a whole nother topic, and we're not even ready for it. But that's not okay either. Oh, but Tiffany, you know how the teenage years are. Are you? That's you. The teenage years are whatever we dictate it. And the ways in which we don't command the respect that we want is in using authoritativeness as the way to command respect. Authoritativeness, titles, that's how we're going to get respect. No. So stay with me as I try to round robin this and get you inside of this, because I find that a lot of the respect that woman is looking for, she's trying to get it through fear, through manipulation, through things that are negative. And the truth is that if I positively respect myself and then I ask in the form of a command, meaning I'm making it not optional for someone else to respect me, then the respect is inevitable. Now, for me, I am asking for respect from every person I engage with. But I can't do that without respecting myself. And let me tell you some of the ways I respect myself. Kindness. Oh my gosh, what is she talking about? Kindness, trust, consistency, being a woman of my word. Those are some of the few ways that I command respect, because I give those things to myself. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I may fail you perceptionally, and I don't do it that day, that moment, that hour, but be clear, I'm going to get it done the next day or by the end of that week. Respect is one of these things that it's like, if you can't respect yourself, like especially as you're climbing the ladder, because all these guys back then, so back to the business that I own, so all these guys back then, they would just make me feel so inferior. And I found myself not respecting at the time like what I knew. I found myself not respecting the fact that I had really accomplished something. I was top 3 or top 5 in the country for certain partners that Xerox had. I had earned 1 year, I was number 1 inside of a relationship and a partnership we had. And I remember the president of the channel being at like one of these events, and the president of the channel brought me in front of everybody. Now, the truth is that he brought me in front of everybody, awarded me, and he gave me a pen. It was a silver pen. He didn't give me a money or a plaque or like even like a cheeseburger. He gave me a pen with the word Xerox on it. And I remember looking at it, it didn't even have my name on it. Like I don't know what it had, but it was just a pen though. He brought me on stage though. I don't think you guys understand. He brought me on stage and handed me a little box of pen. Now, you hear me joking about this, but the truth is that at that moment, I could look in the crowd and I remember seeing all these white guys because there was no other black woman in this room. All these white guys had their hands folded. They were just like, I don't know who's she, and I could see them. So I made a decision to just stand there. A lot of women will take that opportunity. They'll see the haters that are coming in front of them, and what they do is they looking to get off that stage as fast as they possibly can. But part of commanding respect is not about being obnoxious. It's about being and staying where you are planted. So in that moment, I was planted on that stage or in front of all the people. And so what I made a decision to do, stand there. I stand there and I looked at everybody. My look was a little mix of, I see you, do you see me? My statement was also silently, I'm standing here and you're standing there. We could look at opinions and feelings and all the other stuff you've got in front of you, but I just needed to sit with the facts. The reason why I love this conversation for women, because a lot of times the next $500,000 or $1 million for that person, or if it's not that, it's the peace in your home. It's the peace in your home. It's the peace with your spouse or the spouse you want to be or your significant other, the peace with your children. It's because you are not commanding the respect in front of you. I'm going to tell you a story really quickly about how, like in my journey. So I walked you through 2007, 6, and 7, right? That was my first moment of really having to bust my chops. Are you old enough to even know what that means? Bust my chops. That's like that's a big girl word. But I had to bust my chops. At least I didn't say bust my balls, right? Because that would be awkward between you and me, bestie. That would be really awkward. Now, the truth is that at that moment, when I found myself in all these rooms in North Carolina and no one respected me, I just made a decision that it was like, well, respecting me is not optional and it is what it is. And I am here. If you haven't said this to yourself in the last 24, 48 hours, I really want you to say this to yourself right now. Like, I am here, mother effers. Like, I'm here and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, there is a fine line between arrogance and ego and fact and kindness. I have to highlight this because, the other day, before I get into the story, the other day, someone said to me, Tiffany, who was it? My daughter. She was like, Mom, I heard there was a word named arrogant, and I think that you're arrogant. And I was like, okay. I didn't say no. I'm not going to shoot her down. I was like, do you tell me what you believe arrogance to be? And she was like, well, it's a place in which you're talking about yourself and you're saying that you're great. And I said, I think that could be a word, but here's the truth. I actually never say that I'm better than Jessica or Samantha. I just say I'm the best. Now, the truth is that Jessica and Samantha could say they're their best too. I don't know what Jessica and Samantha are doing, and I honestly don't care. I only know what I'm doing. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm the best. And I remember her looking at me and she was like, huh. And then she said to me, well, why do you have to say it like that? And I said to her, well, because baby cakes, if I don't believe I'm the best, then who's going to believe that I'm the one to be picked? Then she said to me, oh, so in business. And I was like, yeah, kind of all around. And what was fascinating is like 30 minutes later, she heard someone else that we both know walk into a conversation. And he was like, oh, well, I'm better than John. And I was like, you see, now that's arrogance because you don't have to elevate yourself above somebody else in order to be awesome. That's a different game and that's ugly. It's ugly. It's gross. It's disgusting. I frown upon it. I think it's bad. I hate it. I don't get it. I'm so out of that game. But the moment that you make a decision where you look at the other people around you and you're like, hey, I see that face you're making, but guess what? I'm awesome. Now, here's the toughest part about commanding respect. You're going to command respect sometimes, and some people don't want to give it to you. Like, you're going to do everything in your power to command this respect, and they won't give it to you. And you're thinking to yourself, fuck, when they give me this respect. And then you're thinking to yourself, well, I did this shit wrong. And it's like, no, you didn't do this shit wrong. The problem is that they have a problem. You don't have a problem. The fact still stands. You're still awesome. Now, I'm going to tell you a story that's really important for me, for you to hear, because I highlighted a big part of my journey 10 years ago. No, that's a lie. 2008 is shit. What year are we in? That's like 20 years ago. Oh my God. Is this part where I say I'm getting old? Oh my gosh. 15 years ago. Look at that fast math. And I'm here like, carry the one, Tiffany, carry the one. Almost took out my calculator on you people. Now, the truth is, I really understood another level. So me commanding my respect, me just commanding respect in general, it definitely got me to $1 million, it got me to multiple $1 million, and it allowed me cool things. Like, I bought out other companies. I acquired my competitors in the state of North Carolina. I got to entertain cool things like flying to New York and New Jersey and looking at other businesses and seeing if I would buy them. I built a great team, and I'm very proud of it, but it only took me so far. Because what I realized is that I was commanding respect, but then there were some areas, especially when it came to race, that I would back down. Because I found myself in the state of North Carolina. I'm from Miami, Florida. And here I am in flipping North Carolina, where they don't even know most of the time that slavery is over. Like, it's so weird. Everybody's participating in this weird race game with allowance. And it was scary for me. I could tell you stories upon stories where, yes, I held on to the respect that I wanted. But when race enters the game for me, and I'm already a woman, it's a very different ballpark. I could tell you I could tell you stories that you wouldn't believe. Like, and this is not the story I was going to tell you, but I want to show you the other side of having to know where you are, like knowing where you are, being clear on what's happening, and then feeling your way through the outcome. Because there was a time where I remember trying to inch in this world, right? Getting the beginning of me commanding respect. And I walk into a church in a city called Faith, North Carolina. And I'm there because I have this serial number, and I've been asked by the manufacturer to go see, or the company. And I decide I'll just go see it myself. It's a church. I grew up in the church. I know ministry. And so, and if you're wondering why I keep touching my hair, if you can see me on videos, because it's a little hot behind me. So I want to make sure I can stay here, stay with you, and get this story out to you, because it's really important. But so I'm in Faith, North Carolina, and I have this serial number that they can't find this machine. And I go, oh my gosh, Faith, North Carolina. My office was in a city called Salisbury, North Carolina. Sure, I'll go see it. I get to Faith, North Carolina, and it's a weird place because it just looks like, I don't know. It looks like it's too far in the past. And you heard me make a joke about slavery not being over, but it's just like everybody is stuck in these spaces and ways. And here I come, free-minded, free acting, free thinking acting, right? Like, I can go anywhere, I can do anything, just not because I'm bigger and better, just because I'm here. I get to this church and I walk inside, and I'll never forget walking inside. And if you can imagine, there's like a hallway, like a house, but it's a big church, and I'm in the office. There's a hallway in front of me, and to my left is like an alcove, kind of like a living room, and to my right is another alcove. Now, I walk inside and I look cute. Like, I'm as cute as a button. I got a skirt on, I got some corporate company shirt on, I got cute heels, my hair is freshly washed, like everything's delicious about me. I look to my right and my left, and there is a woman. So there's a woman on my left, and I'm like, hi, how you doing? So I look over to my left, and she's staring at me. Like, it's wild. She's just staring at me. So I guess I dismissed the stare because there's just two people. I look to the right, I'm like, hey, but to the right woman, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Out of the corner of my eye, I remember seeing that this woman, it took her purse off of the top of her desk and is hiding it underneath her. And I look to my right, and this woman is just staring at me. And now she's not only staring at me, but she's pushing she looks like she's pushing a button in her desk. Now, I must have been there for a minute. I don't know if you know how long a minute is, but I got a clipboard in my hand and my car keys. And I am looking at both of these women and I'm like, did you guys hear me? Good morning. How you guys doing? Now, I've never experienced anything like this. And at this moment, I'm attempting to command respect. But I think I'm really attempting to gather acknowledgement. Like, that's something else. Like, sometimes respect is just acknowledging that you're there, acknowledging you. So this woman looks like she's pushing something onto the counter, and before I could get out another word, I then go, wait a second, are you guys afraid of me? Did you just hide your purse? I was like, I make more money than both of you combined. Are you serious? Before I could blink, because it hit me what's going on, a white guy comes out from a door like 30 feet in front of me, directly in front of me, and he opens the door, and I'm assuming that whatever button this woman has pushed to my right is summons him from, I don't know, from the basement of who knows, from doing, I don't know what they're doing down there. He comes out and he says to me, he looks at me and he goes, I go, hi, thank God you're here. Neither of these two women are responding to me. You must be the pastor. Hi, my name is Tiffany. And his response was, we can't help your kind here. I will never forget the feeling of staring at this man and thinking to myself, what is happening? No bullshit. I'm in a church. I'm in a church. I'm not in a little church. I'm on a church on Main Street in the center of this city. And it's probably the largest church. And I don't want to tell you what the name of this church is. When he says, we can't help your kind here, mind you, it's 2000. I want to make sure you understand. It's 2010. We're not talking about the 80s. I don't want anyone to get crazy. We're talking about 2010, 2011, some one of them years. When he says this to me, I'm lost. I'm so lost in this moment. I don't even have enough words. But I'm not hurt. I'm not crying, because I am new to understanding that I automatically don't get respect in this state because I'm human. I'm now learning how to command respect as a human, because they are caught up on the fact that my skin color is darker than theirs, which is the most asinine way to be, like to think. Nonetheless, I proceed to say something simple like, what are you talking about? And what did you just say? And he's like, you heard what I said. We can't help your kind in here. And I didn't feel afraid. I think it was my first time feeling sad, because in this conversation of me having to figure out a new way of getting respect. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because the only way outside of that situation, like the only way around that, now in this moment, I was done with them. I mean, when I say I was done, like it was going to be their loss if I didn't show up, and I lost interest in caring. And so I laughed, I left, and I drove away. Now, I remember going back to my office, and like that week or the week after, I took the guys to get a drink like right next door or something. And all I remember is mentioning that I had driven to Faith, North Carolina. And one of the guys almost like literally spit out his drink. He's like, you went to where? And I was like, I went to Faith, North Carolina. I had to go see a machine, such and such. And he was like, we don't go over there. And I thought to myself, it's wild. There is such a line between being in an environment as a woman where there are more cards on the table that you have to deal with, or that you have to figure the flip out of it. And I watched the fear in this man who had to be 20 years my senior, truly afraid for me. And the fact that I had gone to Faith, North Carolina by myself at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. There are some places in which you may be faced with cards that are outside of your control. And as a woman, it's the hardest thing to navigate, because then you go, what do I do? Now, for me, the dumb idea, the backwards idea, is to stay in the environment where you can't get where you have cards being played against you that you can't win it. Like, I don't understand that method of thinking. It doesn't make sense for me. However, let me tell you how to combat out of it. So the way to combat this way of being is specifically to use your facts and data. Over the next couple of years, I really learned to hone in on the fact that I had built $1 million business, that I built a multiple 7-figure business. I had to own the fact that we had a beautiful office in the center of a major city. I needed to learn how to own the fact that I had bought other companies, both from white men. I had bought companies from white men. They didn't look like me. I didn't know them. They probably didn't even like me, but I was able to figure out how to do a business transaction like that. And then I had to own the fact that I sold my company. I had to own the fact that I learned how to sue people. Like I had to learn facts and own facts about myself. And the reason why this is so important before I get out of here is because, bestie, let me make this clear. If you don't remind yourself or tell yourself about the accomplishments instead of listening to everybody else's thoughts and feelings about what you haven't accomplished, you're totally going to crash and fail. You're going to crash and burn, not fail, crash and burn, because you're going to feel like I am not enough. The world's already told us that we're not enough. You're going to feel like you don't have enough. The world has already told you you don't have enough. You're going to feel like you're below, less than. The world's already made you feel like that. So you might as well feed yourself the things that actually matter, what you have done, what you have accomplished, how amazing you are. It was me, my confidence, and me writing down on a sheet of paper almost every flipping week the things that I had accomplished, what I had done, because I had to keep the thickest skin ever while living in that state. Not a chip on my shoulder. That's a different conversation I'm going to get into with you. But I had to actually keep myself together because nowhere that I turned was there anyone to back me up. Sometimes as we are on our journey to more, we don't need a backup. We actually just need our damn selves. And if we can be the cheerleader that we need, if we can stand in the gap until we can find the right community, until we can find the right people, until we can find the right vibe, I promise you that like everything will get better. All right, bestie. I hope that this moment of more has been something that you can bite into, that was delicious, and more importantly, that feeds you and your soul and your spirit as you and I build more next week. I can't wait to see you next week. Stay right in tune with this series and make sure you go grab all 7 of these things.